Well guys, a lot of PCs in the market have nothing inherently wrong with them. Well, aside from maybe a bit of weird noises, being very badly mounted and looking like trash. However, there's quite a bit you can do to improve them. And now today I'm gonna show you how you can transform a PC from looking like this to this little spoiler. So let's take a look at what we got here today. It's a used PC, budget roughly 450 to 500 euros, and it has an i5 10400. So very, let's say, mid-range PC from a few years ago, and it has the i5 paired with an RTX 3060, 16 gigs of RAM, a half a terabyte Samsung NVMe, and in this case a very good power supply as well as some very good Noctua fans. Now these are gonna be exactly what we start from in our journey to make the PC look better, because what you can do is you can actually downgrade those components, put in a worse power supply in, and fans that cost roughly the same as Noctua's but that will look better, and then maybe use the money remaining to invest in a tube of thermal paste, some Arctic MX6, and maybe another stock cooler that doesn't make this weird noise, and just make the whole PC look better, do a full cleanup, a full repaste, rebuild it properly, and it will look like a complete different PC. So let's get started guys, let's go on the journey with us. Now the first thing you should do, which we have already done, is do a fresh install of Windows 11. Now in this case the PC is already running pretty well actually, and the performance is not too bad actually. So we will now run a quick CPU-Z. The only issue we have at the moment is the CPU is slightly overheating, because again, that's an old gen stock cooler and it is probably slightly damaged. The GPU, however, does run great, so now we'll quickly show you temperature of both. So after a very quick run of CPU-Z, the power limits hit, the performance throttles completely, and we still go relatively high, with the PC being relatively loud. However, as you can see, our GPU, well, now it's cold and it's just started, but I can tell you it will reach a maximum of 70 degrees, so it is actually running pretty well, especially with the side panel open. But I say we can also add 2 fans on the front. So now let's see what components we're gonna be putting into this PC, okay? So here's our PC in the bench. Now, white RAM, it does look nice, however we're putting some black RAM to match the build better. This is not really needed. But this blue cooler is ugly, especially those cables here, so we're gonna put the full black one, which came with the 11th gen of Intel. Now, you can actually, if you're really on a budget, paint this one to be like this one. I actually have a very old tutorial that did not come out too well on how to paint a cooler white, so yes, you can also do that. But then we're gonna be putting these Noise Blockers RGB fans. Now Noise Blocker is a very good brand. They make high performance fan, they're cheap, and they are ARGB, which is what we want. However, this being a low-end motherboard, I fear we might not have the RGB connector, so that's gonna be a bit of a challenge, but I think we're gonna be putting 2 on the front so you can see through the mesh, and then 1 on the back, just out taking all the air. Then we're gonna get rid of this spider web that's probably needed, and downgrade the PSU, which is definitely overkill for this tiny build. Put in a Nova 550 watts 80 plus bronze unit, which is gonna be plenty fine for the power output of this tiny gaming machine. I say we get started, but first we gotta clean everything off. Let's go. Okay, so first step, clean off. Now guys, if you want, I do have a full video on how to clean your PC, it's on the channel. But anyways, let's go. So again, if you've seen how to clean your PC video, second step is the alcohol, isopropyl alcohol cleaning. And again, pretty straightforward, just we have to go over all of it, take off the dust filters and clean off under them, and really get the PC to be looking brand new. As you can see, even if it seems super clean, it's actually not. Okay, so with everything roughly cleaned, it's time to get dismounting. So let's start from the actual easy part, which is just taking off the RAM. Again, super easy. 2 of these, take it off, and then we're obviously gonna clean this one more. Then cooler, the stock coolers, just rotate the pins, as you can see. Take off the connector, then diagonally pull them out, diagonally pull them out, and they will just automatically come out. Paste is actually not too bad. So it just means that the cooler is bad and or the paste is not best. At this point, we want to take off the actual power supply. So CPU cable, first step, motherboard cable, second step, GPU cable, and I know for a fact, since it has a SATA SSD, But we also have an SSD cable, so let's flip the case and let me show you. This is our SATA SSD. Now watch out, these cables are very delicate. I actually have a tutorial on the channel in which I show how to fix a broken one because I broke it. So try not to break it and just pull it straight ahead. And now we have everything freed up. However, there are still some of these that we will have to cut to free up the power supply, and then we can get actually unscrewing. Now in this case, since the power supply has no shroud, you want to first pull all the cables on the back and then just unscrew it. And here is the actual power supply. As you can see, very high-end PSU from Corsair, no point to put it there. Okay, so this we're gonna pocket. Now, since I build a lot of PCs, this will go basically somewhere and we'll be using another PC. But if you're doing this on your PC, you can just sell it, get some money, and with the sole cost of this, you could cover the rest of the upgrades we're doing today. So pretty nice. Now, with the PC empty, before actually going ahead and mounting back the new PSU, new RAM, etc., we also have to fix the cable management and get rid of these ugly cables just in the middle of everything. So we have to cut this one and just take off the fans. Let's go. Now, even with the few cables remaining, you can still see just how bad the cable management was. So we have to relocate the USB 3.0 cable and the actual audio cable because there is no point for it to go this way. We can just route it from down here. Now that we have space, an extra cleanup of our GPU is very well welcome. Okay, it's actually time for a bit more tech maintenance things. So paste cleanup, super easy, just need to have the right solvent and you can just go ahead and clean off. Now we can read the writing on our nice i5 10400 and apply some fresh paste on it. Okay, so we're using some MX6. I actually have a review of this on the channel. It's a very good paste, and with the stock cooler it's gonna be plenty for this 6-core 12-threaded i5 even after we undervolt it and tweak it. Cooler install with the stock one, you have to make sure that it is facing the right direction with the clips, and then kind of what we did when we were taking it off, you first slide it into place and then you diagonally press it down. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and it's just locked in, and we can go ahead and plug this into the CPU fan header. RAM install time, again, everything matching. Okay, so here we are. Okay, at this point we are nearly finished, but before we install the fans, let's put the power supply in. Okay, so now we just have to connect all the cables, but we will do it done right. And I say it's much better now. It's finally time for the fans, and then we're done. Now, cool things about these noise blocker fans is they give you 4 cables. Why, you might be asking? Well, because the fans has a very tiny cable, so you can just daisy chain it. And then they give you a slightly bigger but still tiny cable, and then an actual good cable. So you can just adapt it to your case and do not waste time with clutter and too many cables. Look at how unique the design is in the fan. I've never seen anything like this. Okay, so with this fan installed, we just have to put the other one in and then come back to you with the build fully ready. And here we are with the PC fully finished. Now, it wasn't as easy as we encountered quite a few issues, which we will discuss in a second. But first of all, I think the aesthetic difference is just night and day. I mean, those noise blocker fans we added really do look the part, and with a front mesh, you can see them from the front and they just look so much better. Same goes, in my opinion, for the black Intel stock cooler and for just doing the build fully blacked out instead of going with some white accents, which in my opinion weren't really fitting. The new power supply also, yes, it's smaller, it's just fully black, but I think it fits the build nicely as well. Now, the performance has also increased. So we did test CPU-Z and we have basically dropped 25 degrees in temperature while running CPU-Z on the CPU. This is because not only the new stock cooler is a bit better than the old one, yes, the difference is not only aesthetic, but because we applied some fresh thermal paste on it, of course, which does make quite a bit of difference. Now, we did test Firestreak and we actually scored close to the top of the world with this configuration, so it's crazy. We did 19K in total score, and overall it was just running smoothly. I think the RTX 3060 with this i5 are a really good pairing. Right now it's running heaven at over 200 FPS maxed out 1080p, and you can actually play with this PC in Apex Legends and just play on a 144Hz monitor easily. Even in Warzone and new Call of Duty you will be able to do roughly 120 FPS, again just 3060 performance there. And in Fortnite, of course, you can push the 200. All of that, obviously, if you play with competitive settings and lower your settings a little bit. But we did have a few issues. Now, you're probably not gonna have the same issues I've had because this power supply I got here, I bought it used and it was pretty cheap. So what happened is it was making a very, very weird noise. So I figured, okay, we can just fix the fan as we've done on the channel. I have my GPU fan fix tutorial on the channel. But we encountered a few issues, so this will actually get a dedicated video on the channel about how we fixed the power supply, but basically we ended up replacing the fan. But I will show you how you can avoid my mistakes and making this better, so we did that there as well. If we take a look at this economically, it definitely does make sense. This is why getting a balanced PC is probably the most important thing in PC gaming, because people say, there's no bad in going with an overkill power supply. Well, there actually is, because you could have spent your money better on the rest of the PC. So any component you pay too much is actually a detriment to the whole build. In this case, economically, if we sold off the components that we took off from this PC, so the Noctua fans, the power supply, etc., the stock cooler, I just threw it in the trash. But if we did sell these, we actually would probably make a small profit over what we put in. So we would have saved money and improved the performance and looks of the computer. So all in all, here are a few things you can do on your PC. And also, obviously, to really transform the performance of your gaming PC, you can also undervolt it and overclock it if you have the time and if you're willing to do so. I also do have tutorials for all of that to make it simple, and I will actually do a tuning tutorial for this CPU as well on the channel. So guys, if you liked the video, please drop a like and subscribe, stay tuned, there's much more coming, I have many big projects, and if you have any suggestion, drop a comment, or if you didn't like something I did, tell me why, and see you in the next one, guys. Bye!